The Nuts and Bolts of Writing, Season 2, a podcast where we talk about literature, the ins and outs of writing, and how to actually start writing.
Hey everyone, this is Tete DePunk, one of the co-hosts of the Nuts and Bolts of Writing. Today I will be interviewing poet Ali Ashar, who has submitted several of his poems, including Life's Lore, to issue 5 of our literary zine, The Unconventional Courier. He has also submitted his quartet of poems, including Evasion, to issue 6 of The Unconventional Courier. I've provided links to both of his works in the description. Ali Ashar is a poet, short story writer, and columnist. He is the author of the poetry collection Mirror of Emotions. Ali Ashar has won 4 awards for his work during his writing career. His works appear in Indian Review, The Raven Review, Bosphorus Review of Books, among others. You can follow Ali on Twitter at AliAshar11. Poetry is the human voice amplified in the moment, and poetry evokes timelessness because of its instant emotive state. Today, we'll be discussing how one poet and writer, with the reflective and gifted Ali Ashar, approaches writing and poetry. Hello, Ali. Welcome to the Nuts and Bolts of Writing. We're thrilled to have you here today. When did you start writing poetry?
So, first of all, I would like to thank you so much for having me here on the podcast. It's a great initiative where we can connect and discuss such ideas. So, I started studying literature in my graduation with a belief that I took literature because of my love. Literature always used to fascinate me, and that love turned into passion. There is a quote by the famous poet Rumi, which says, "Everything in the universe is within you. Ask all from yourself." So, and I began writing poetry as I got deeper into literature. So, this was my journey in the beginning.
That is amazing. That it really shows a sort of a long built and deep connection, with the desire to create poetry and the love of literature. And speaking of which poets have been your inspirations in your writing journey?
As far as inspiration is concerned, I believe that it is something that comes from within. So it's definitely life, the people, circumstances around me. But however, I believe that when I was reading literature during my college days, I read Shakespeare, Wordsworth, Robert Frost, Thomas Gray, and they had a profound impact on my writing. And William Wordsworth once famously said that a poet is highly sensitive to the happening around him, extremely enthusiastic, filled with tenderness, great knowledge of human nature, deep connection with own feeling. His mood and emotion arise in response of outer happening. So they too had a profound impact on my writing. But as I said, that the greatest inspiration that is from ourself only. It comes from within only.
That is very true. I think many authors and poets, they can definitely draw inspiration from within themselves, and that's what creates that unique hallmark of that work, for sure. Absolutely. And I was also going to ask, concerning advice, since we've talked about inspiration, what would be the best advice you could give other writers about writing or publishing?
I think that the first thing when you are a beginner or when you go ahead with writing in your life, so you have to believe. A lot of us, what we do that we don't believe in ourselves, or we seek to chase perfection. If you are seeking perfection, there will always be a fear within you of not being good enough. So I believe don't chase perfection, be persistent, and have a vision that you can see afar. Everyone is unique in their own way. So try your best, read a lot, read passionately, read classical writers, modern writers, observe curiously, analyze, feel. It all contributes to writing. And apart from that, failing is an important process. It helps you grow. Everyone fails, but learn from your failures. Don't back down. You will get better with time, and surround yourself with positive people, like-minded people, people who lift you up. Connect with writers on social media, online, learn from their experience, and above all, be perseverant, be passionate, learn, grow, and evolve.
This is very, very good advice. And speaking of, persistency, would you say that you yourself, do you have a daily or weekly writing schedule, or do you only write when you're inspired?
Um, I think I am portable with both. I have a writing schedule too, and when you have inspiration, it's the best time to write. But when you don't have the inspiration, I feel that you must write. You don't give up. The foremost thing is keep going. When I don't get inspiration for writing poems, I try different genres. Like I write short stories, I write open letters, and other genres too. uh, and I feel that inspiration comes from different sources, like what we read, what we see, what we feel, what we hear, our experiences. So if our thinking should be multidimensional, and if we are consistent and disciplined, then I feel that inspiration will come along.
That is very, very good advice. And, that can definitely apply for people who, find inspiration not so much on a consistent schedule, but sometimes it's more of a spontaneous nature, so to speak. I
Thank
was
you so
also,
much.
oh yes, absolutely. And speaking of which, you mentioned that you write different forms of writing. Would you say that those different forms, like short story or open letter, would you say there's a different approach to that, than the different approach to poetry, or is it coming from a general same place?
Of course, there is a different approach, and poetry is something that is short and concise. You have to say it in a concise way. But short story, you have to build character, your plot, your narratives, right? And open letters also, that you have that is different approach. Open letter is something that is based on your experience. So different genres require different type of approach, and how you see that genre, and how you plot, how you write. Every genre requires its own distinctive approach, I feel that.
That is very true. That's absolutely true. And I think a lot of writers, in all different forms of writing can definitely appreciate and understand that. Oh, I was also going to ask, how well do you work under pressure? Like, say if there's a deadline or anything of that nature, how well do you work under it? And what advice would you have for people who may have to create something under pressure?
I believe that pressure can impact your writing, and a champion is someone who can perform in pressure as well as normal circumstances. So pressure should not stop you from where you are going. I believe that pressure can be used as an inspiration too. You can delve in that pressure, or if there is a deadline, it can help you unleash your creativity at the most. So I think that pressure can be sometimes genuinely helpful for your writing. You need to just have that transforming vision of turning that pressure into inspiration. But yeah, I feel that excess of everything is bad. Don't let that pressure take a toll on your mental health. Maintain a healthy balance between work and family, your work life and your personal life. Maintaining a balance is a key to a happy life.
That is a very, very healthy approach. And you're absolutely right, not to let, pressure or anything excessive, take over one's life. And I also wanted to ask, was there any particular work or a particular time in your writing career where you had to finish a work for a deadline, or you were creating a particular work under a particular time of pressure? And if so, did that influence the work in any way, or maybe alter or influence the approach of your writing that piece?
Yeah, definitely. There have been deadlines, and as I told you earlier, that it just unleashed the creativity in the best form. It brought the best out of me. I believe that when you have a deadline, it pushes you to the limit, I feel. And when you don't have that deadline, or you don't have that mandatory pressure, you relax, you are calm. So there are two different scenarios, but I feel that when you have pressure, and I have worked into pressure, I have been given deadlines, and I have completed my work before deadlines, and it only brought out the best out of me.
That is really great to hear. It's almost a bit of the, analogy of when, there's great pressure or heat applied to metal, it becomes refined or strengthened.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I also wanted to ask, would there be any, parting advice, or, any parting advice that you would give to any potential writers or poets out there?
Mm, just one thing, that self-doubt is the greatest enemy of yourself. And I believe that failures don't kill your dreams. It's self-doubt. A failing is a part, as I mentioned, that fail, but never let your doubt stop you from being what you are. Like, if I give you the example of J.K. Rowling, uh, you must have heard about her story. So it's inspirational. Turning down rejections, these are a part of a writer's life. But the foremost thing you can give yourself is believe in your art.
That is very sound advice. And yes, it's especially particularly, with her, when you look about her origins, it's definitely an inspiration to many. Many of us have had to deal with rejection, after rejection. And, that just pushes us to keep, creating more, and, keep knocking on more doors, so to speak.
Yeah. It's a painful process, and I have been there too. And even today, I received a failure note from a literary journal. But I am not going to give up. It's a part of our life, and it's a stepping stone to success. All that matter is how we see that failure.
Yes, that is very true. And I think with many writers, they can feel discouraged and, give up. But, that's actually the time, as you pointed out, where it depends on how you use or turn your failures into. So this is very, very good advice.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's a great initiative by the Unconventional Courier to conduct podcast on a regular basis, where we can discuss such beautiful things. And my best wishes for the upcoming podcast and your literary design. Best of luck for
Well,
your upcoming endeavors.
oh, you're very, very welcome. And thank you so much again for the interview. This was very, very, there was a lot to learn here. Thank you for the really good, solid advice. And we at the Unconventional Courier, wish you all the best in your endeavors. We hope to hear from you again. We really enjoyed your work, and thank you for, coming on to the podcast. And we hope to, see more of your work, in our publication. Feel free to reach out to us. And thank you so much for this interview. This was really great. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great time. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.